Today we have the 2022 Lexus LX600. This may look like a luxury vehicle, but in fact, it is extraordinarily capable because under the skin is the new Land Cruiser 300. That's coming up right now on Driving Sports TV. The crossover market is a really funny place, specifically in the luxury segment. So many vehicles are luxury and lifted and crossover-y, yet they're not actually capable when you take them off-road. Well, the Lexus here is different, because you see this Lexus LX600 is actually based on the Land Cruiser 300, which is the newest, latest and greatest off-road machine that Toyota sells internationally, but not available here in the States. Instead, we get the Lexus counterpart. Does this Lexus, with all of its luxury, diminish the off-road capabilities? We're gonna test that today. But first, let's check out all the features. Under the hood is a twin turbocharged 3.5 liter V6. It puts out 409 horsepower and 479 pound-feet of torque. It's connected through a 10-speed automatic transmission, and it powers all four wheels with an advanced off-road capable four-wheel drive system. That is, full-time four-wheel drive. It has a Torsen limited slip differential in the back, and it gets up to 17 miles to the gallon in the city and 22 on the highway. That may not sound great, but it's so much better than the outgoing V8. Even though this is based on a highly capable overland vehicle, these tires are not really ready for extreme off-road adventures. I mean, they're Dunlop Grand Trek all seasons. Plus, they're wrapped around these gorgeous 22-inch wheels. Man, we're gonna have to try really hard not to scratch these today. The trim level that we are testing today is the F-Sport handling. This starts at $101,000. However, this has upgraded Mark Levinson sound and special paint. Prices you see it sitting here, $105,600 US, including destination and delivery. Overall, I actually really like the design of this vehicle. Everything from that big schnoz in the front to this very modern looking back. And of course, it's loaded with modern features, like wave my foot, and the trunk opens. With the third row up, there's hardly any space back here. However, fold them down, we have a pretty generous amount of space behind the second row. Fold all three rows down and you have up to 71 cubic feet of total capacity. Because this is a three row, the third row basically takes up any extra space under the floor. You do, however, get a full-size spare on the underside of the vehicle. Oh, towing capacity, 8,000 pounds. Ooh, this leather feels really nice. I get a window shade integrated into the door. This is upgraded with Mark Levinson sound, so I have a speaker right here. And then down here, I have dual zone for second row, as well as heated and cooled seats, which is a nice touch. Below that, I get a DC power socket, as well as two USB-C sockets. In the middle, you get a fold-down armrest with integrated cup holders. Oh, I also get my own vents and LED lights. Yeah, this is nice. So I don't really consider this a serious third row. I do have space for my knees. However, the floor is so incredibly high. My knees are like in my face and I have no headroom. Also, that's about a foot between me and whatever car is driving behind me. I wouldn't feel particularly safe back here. Now, I do get the ability to lean my seat, which is kind of nice. I also get a USB-C socket and my own vent, which is neat. Still, won't want to be back here for more than, say, 5 minutes at a time. Okay, I'm good here. Let's see, how do I get out? Oh, there's a lever here. There we go. Ugh, get me out of here. Now let's check out what's up front. Okay, this is different, and that's a good thing. The old Lexus LX was looking pretty dated, but this looks way more modern. Let's go ahead and power it on. Oh, there's a place to put my phone. Power's up here on the screen. That's kind of funny. Okay, what do we have here? The Lexus animation, that's really nice. Overall, I have 3 screens available to me. The main one over here is, of course, a digital gauge cluster that gives me all the critical information I need. Information such as eco, tire pressures, and it even gives tire pressure on the spare, which I like. Current MPGs, range. Moving to the right, we have navigation, music, the advanced safety stuff, which is pretty comprehensive. Let's go through the whole list here. We have lane detection, blind spot monitoring, parking sonars, rear cross traffic alerts, RCD, heads-up display, curve speed reduction. It'll actually detect curves and slow down your autopilot. And then also has pre-collision, which you can adjust to a variety of settings. Basically, all the stuff you would expect in a modern SUV. Now, the sitting position here is really cockpity. I mean, it feels like everything is wrapped around me, but it also feels a little tight. I mean, this A-pillar is really chunky and it's cutting off some of my visibility. My arm is kind of hitting the door over here. I just feel like this is, especially for larger drivers, this is going to be pretty compact, especially considering the dimensions of this vehicle on the outside. This is not a small vehicle, but everything does fall to hand nicely. I got paddle shifters on this just lovely wheel. I love the leather on this, just feels so good. And the controls are nicely integrated. The paddle shifters are very clicky. That lets me control the 10-speed automatic. Yeah, that's really nice. For infotainment, we have an all-new system that was developed in-house by Toyota/Lexus. This is the same system that first appeared on the Lexus NX, and then it was on the Toyota Tundra, and now it's here on the LX. But on the LX here, it's a widescreen format. And one of my biggest complaints with this is that there is no home screen. Navigation, that's your home screen. I would like more multi-functions going on here. I want to see both my music and my maps, possibly. Maybe phone status. I mean, even Apple CarPlay started out without a home screen, and they added one because people want that. This does support Lexus's portable profile, so if I set up a profile in an NX, that profile can be imported here to the LX, and that covers everything from like seating to temperature to radio preferences. Let's try doing a search with this new navigation system. Find Victor's Coffee.
I found Victor's Celtic Coffee Company. Would you like to go now?
Yes.
Calculating route to Victor's Celtic Coffee Company.
Okay, that's actually really good. Nicely done, Lexus.
Proceed to the highlighted route.
Okay, we can go ahead and end that. But now let's try something a little more complicated. Set the internal temperature to 70 degrees.
Setting the driver's seat temperature to 70 degrees.
Nice. How old is Britney Spears?
According to Wikipedia, Britney Spears, live and more, is 40 years old.
Britney Spears is 40 years old, according to the Lexus. In addition to the search functions, you can also do radio. They have terrestrial as well as Sirius XM. Now, I would like a dial here to switch quickly between my channels. You can't do that. As you can see with this really plain graphic here, I'm on lithium right now. If I click that, then I can actually channel up and channel down. I just don't feel like that's terribly intuitive. I did not know that when I first sat down here. I had to kind of play with it a little bit. Again, it's kind of like 1.0 issues with this system where it's like, is that really the best way to do it? But they can do over-the-air updates, and I imagine we'll see some big improvements in this system over the next couple years. Okay, we have phone integration with Bluetooth, and then finally we have trip information, and then settings. Now the settings, I can do my own setup. I can also customize how I want the vehicle to function in terms of illumination, alarms, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so, and for voice, I can choose which kind of wake word I want. Do I want it to be, "Hey Lexus"? "Hey Lexus"? Oh. Hey, Lexus. Hey, Lexus. Oh, there we go. Where's the nearest coffee house?
I found 2 results. The first is Lexus of Bellevue at 116th.
Okay, well, I don't think she understood what I was asking here. There's also a decent surround view camera system as well as a backup camera with rear cross traffic alerts. Okay, so this system is pretty cool. The voice stuff works. You can even do freestyle searches on stuff that's not directly related to the vehicle. I really like how they have this second display to basically give you all the status of your four-wheel drive system. Because this is based on the Land Cruiser, it has a lot going on. It's not just a part-time four-wheel drive system, it's a full-time four-wheel drive system. That means it has a trick center differential to push power from the front to the back, yet you don't have to disable it when it's not slippery. You can drive it all the time. And that differs from all-wheel drive in that this really will push power to all 4 wheels all the time. Most all-wheel drive systems are part-time or push most of the power to the front most of the time. This one is a legitimate 4-wheel drive system. And because it has that center differential, you can turn the vehicle and it won't chatter the wheels from binding the drivetrain. That's a real problem with vehicles like the Toyota Tundra, which does not have a full-time 4-wheel drive system, but here it's good. Now we also have a lot of controls to deal with off-road situations. All the greatest hits of Toyota are here. Yeah, Toyota Lexus. We have the multi-terrain select system, which I then use this dial to switch between auto, dirt, sand, mud, deep snow. What those do is they optimize the wheel braking system to help push power around the system or allow for more wheel spin when necessary, because sometimes you actually want more wheel spin. We'll explore that a little bit later. There's also drive modes, which are more for pavement. You have Sport, Sport Plus, and Custom. That basically changes the dynamics of the way that the vehicle works, everything from throttle to holding gears, so that you can have a sportier driving experience if you want it. And then there is hill descent control and crawl control. This is kind of like an autopilot for off-road. And with that enabled, I basically just move the dial here and I can switch between the different modes. Now, crawl control does require on this vehicle to be in 4 low. So I'm going to go ahead and dial into 4 low. I do have to put it into neutral to switch that on. I then get an advanced off-road camera system with front guidelines. Oh, I love that. And then I can enable the DAC crawl control system. Put it into drive, DAC crawl, and now I can adjust the different crawl control speeds and it'll crawl through the system for me. And then there is one other feature on here that I really love, and that is a turn control, which will drag the back inside tire for a tighter turning radius on slippery surfaces. Oh, plus of course I have my little gauge there. So really cool stuff here for off-road, and we're gonna play with that a little bit later. I have the option to lock my center differential here as well as to turn off traction control. I have a heated steering wheel. I have cooled and heated seats as well as auto. Lots of power adjustments. Did I mention that it's leather and these seats are like some of the most comfortable ones you will find anywhere? A bit of a miss on this one is the tiny moonroof. These days it's all about panorama roofs and this vehicle does not have it. Personally, I don't care, but some buyers want that big airy feeling. So let's go ahead and switch this back into 4 high. Oop, gotta put it into neutral. That's gonna disable crawl control and disable all the other features, and now we can drive this on the pavement. So this is, of course, the all-new LX600, and what they've done here is moved it to the new global platform. This is shared with Toyota's new Tundra and the upcoming Sequoia. There are many benefits to having an all-new modern architecture. First off, handling is improved. Also, it allows for more modern powertrains. They have the ability to put a hybrid powertrain into this chassis when they're ready to do that. Clearly they can, because the new Sequoia uses the same chassis and it is a hybrid with a twin turbo 6 as well. You also get a vehicle that is much lighter. This thing sheds more than 400 pounds off of the outgoing LX. Now, in terms of driving it, yeah, it's a little snug in here, but it's not too bad. I find the seats very comfortable. Everything falls to hand nicely. And it's really funny, just a few days ago, I was driving the brand new MDX Type S. That is the polar opposite of this vehicle. And both vehicles, I think, are one of the best crossover slash SUVs you can get today. The MDX being more of a crossover with 3 rows, but it's super sporty handling. The dynamics of that vehicle are off the charts. The LX, being the polar opposite, is more of a tank. This is a comfortable, sophisticated, go anywhere kind of SUV. And today we are going to go anywhere because we have all these off-road features in this vehicle, and we're going to put every single one of them to the test. Let's see what this will do in a 0 to 60 test. Come to a complete stop. Put the transmission into, let's put the whole thing into Sport Plus. 3, 2, 1, and go. A little slow to start, then those twin turbos kick in, and 60. That's pretty quick, 6.33 seconds. I'll take that. Now, it's kind of funny because this is a big SUV, yet it doesn't really feel like it's massive. There is a benefit to this big center console, that's the fact that it actually includes a refrigerator down there. That's right, they include a cool box. But we also have lots of screens, buttons, dials, all that stuff. They really packed it in. The hood is a little funny because it's like these 2 big snouts on the front, and the hood is made out of aluminum, and it kind of wiggles a little bit while I'm driving, and I kind of find that a little distracting. I'm sure I would get used to it though. Of course, on a regular road, this feels great. Because this is the F-Sport handling version of the LX600, it comes with 22-inch wheels, and it also has adaptive suspension. It, however, does not have the optional hydraulic suspension. You can add that to this specific trim, but our test vehicle did not come with it. So hopefully, the 8.9 inches of standard ground clearance will be enough on our off-road course today. Driving on the highway is just magnificent in this vehicle. You have really good sight lines. It's super comfortable. These seats feel great. And of course, it is equipped with the latest in adaptive cruise control. I can go ahead and turn it on, hit a button, hit set. It'll then mirror the vehicle in front of me up to my target speed. And then this also has lane centering. Now, lane centering can't handle super tight turns. It's really designed for multi-lane highways. But it does do a really good job. Is it going to keep it in center? Oh, it's doing, this is really tight. And you can see that it's doing a decent job of keeping it centered. It does eventually lose the plot though. But again, this adaptive cruise control with lane centering is really designed for multi-lane highways where you have very gradual corners. And it's designed to reduce fatigue on long trips. It is not an autopilot system. See the lane? How's it going to turn here? It's actually doing a really good job. Yeah, navigated that just fine. And of course, it's telling me put my hands back on the wheel. So today we are heading out to our test hill, and we're going to be putting all of the great off-road features in this LX to the test. We're going to try the multi-terrain select system, the crawl control system, and turn control. I'm really looking forward to trying this one out on the hill because, of course, we've tested the LX pretty thoroughly in the past, and then we've also tested the older Land Cruiser. This is the first time, however, in the brand new one, and so this is going to be a lot of fun. Let's try out a couple of the different driving modes. Now, I'm going to switch it over to comfort here. And let's see how this feels as we go through the corners. Definitely feels roly-poly. There's a lot of lean, which is really good if you're on rough surfaces and you want to smooth out that suspension. That's good for that. Not so good for twisty corners, however. Now let's go all the way to Sport S Plus. Feel how that is. Oh yeah, a lot less body roll. Throttle comes on very quickly. Okay, it's not quite as transformative as the MDX Type S's drive modes, but it still is a significant difference as you switch them. So that's a good thing. Now let's head to our test hill. Since this is based on a Land Cruiser, that means it has some pretty incredible off-road capabilities. And to test those capabilities, we're first going to try the Rattler on our test hill here. Now we have to be really careful because we're rolling on 22-inch wheels with all-season radials, so this is going to be challenging normally. However, today the course is particularly wet because it's above freezing and lots of snow has saturated the course. Yeah, I'm already slipping and I'm not even on the course yet. Let's go ahead and turn MTS on. Now there's several MTS modes: dirt, sand, mud, and then deep snow. We clearly are in mud, so I'm going to give that a try right now. And then it moves us forward and away we go. Oh, got to be really careful for, oh my gosh. These tires can't do it. These tires are not good for this kind of stuff. Oh my gosh, how deep am I? I am just swamping in mud. Okay, we are gonna pull out all the stops immediately. I'm switching into 4 low. I got my front camera on. I can see how deep my wheels are in the mud there. Put it in drive, put back on view, and let's see what we can do here because this is becoming an issue. We're gonna keep it in mud still. Let's see if I can move forward here. No, let's see if I can move backwards. Oh, you know what? Good opportunity for crawl control. Let's turn on crawl control and see if this system can get us out. Now it's just gonna try to shift power around the system by using the brakes, power, and try to, it's finding any grip it can. Can it get us out of this? Because we are absolutely stuck here. I'm gonna turn it up faster because we're in mud. And mud, sometimes you need to get a little bit of momentum in. And I am not doing brake or gas or anything. The system is doing all the work. I am gonna try to, I think, just exit this backwards if I can. Because at this point, I know the rest of this course is gonna only get harder. And these tires aren't up for it. Okay, we're getting it, we're progressing. I gotta be careful. I have a ledge on the inside, ledge on the outside. Go through the water. Apparently I need to work on some drainage issues here. Now I knew this was gonna be difficult. Today was really stretching it. We are gonna be redoing the course in the coming months here so that we can basically address all of the issues that we've kind of run into in our first year here, and then make it for a totally awesome second year here. Okay, well, even though we were foiled there, that doesn't mean that we're out of luck. There's plenty of things we can do to test out these systems. Okay, now that we got this thing extra muddy, let's explore some of the features in a more controlled fashion. Some of the features that this has are actually pretty good. The first one I want to show you is turn control. Now the way this works is we have to put the vehicle into 4 low, which we're already in. Wait, if I go crawl control, I then have an option here for turn control. I click that, and then it uses the crawl control system. Let's turn up crawl control speed. And then basically the moment that I go full left, it's gonna break that inside wheel to help rotate the vehicle. Now this isn't like the one in the Ford Bronco, which allows you to do donuts. This one really is to just help with that first initial bite in the corner, but it does help to rotate this fairly large vehicle on tight courses. Okay, now let's attack some mud. I know we've already done some mud today, but let's do some more controllable mud this time. I'm going to use this particularly muddy section of the road to test out crawl control system. So if you've used crawl control before, you know that it's a really loud, obnoxious sounding system. So we're going to come to a complete stop here. Going to put it into 4 low. We're going to turn on crawl control, and I'm going to pick a mid-range speed. And now I'm going to take my foot off the brake, off the gas, and we're just going to let the vehicle drive itself out of this really mucky situation. So it's going to like shift power around best it can. It's a little slippery. We should see power shifting. So it's not just cruise control, it's a special off-road cruise control. Come on, you got it. Now, of course, it is particularly challenged because these are all-season radials, which suck in the mud. They just cake up and are useless. Put a set of all-terrains on this. Oh yeah, this thing would be solid. Give it a second try. And now the system's shifting power around. Come on, you got it? You got it? Now I'm trying not to use too much momentum here because I want to show how the system works. And there we go. Crawl control can get you out of really difficult situations. That makes anybody look like an expert off-roader. Now, can we do that same situation with just MTS? Of course we can. So MTS is the multi-terrain select system. So we're going to back up here, try not to get tossed around too much. I'm going to use gravity to get us back out, which is kind of nice. Okay, and now we're going to use MTS. So to do that, I'm going to switch the mode. Let's turn off crawl control. We go to MTS, and I'm going to select mud. Now, ideally, we'd be running on all-terrain tires here, but all seasons will really just make it harder for the system, so the system's actually going to do more work here. And I am controlling the throttle, but we should be able to see some wheel braking happening, which kind of emulates a locking differential. Now, this model does have a torsion limited slip diff in the back, which is nice. You can just see the system get us up and out. So unlike the old system, this one does not make a lot of noise. And so it's a lot more pleasant for people to use, especially people who are new to off-roading. Personally, I kind of like the old loud system because you know it's doing work, but this is good too. I mean, this is really, more people are going to appreciate this, I think. Crawl control also functions backwards, which is kind of neat. I'm in reverse, I have crawl control on mode 3, and I'm just going to slowly ease down. So it basically doesn't just function as for climbing up things, it also works for climbing back down. I really wish this was the package with the 18-inch wheels and all-terrains. That would be really nice. But, you know, most people are never going to take an LX600 off-road. They're just not. But you might get stuck in mud, and you'll definitely hit some snow. And this is very similar to what you would expect from snow, because snow is also really slippery. I know, true fact. So on this new model, you can use MTS in 4 high. I just click on MTS, and I can go to mud, and then I can floor it. It is, of course, the fun way to get through slippery conditions. So that's our look at the new LX600. It basically takes everything that was good about the LX and makes it even better. Now, unfortunately, it is a little cramped in here, so if you want big space, you probably should look at something else like the new Tahoe that we just reviewed recently, or even maybe the upcoming Sequoia would be more your style. For Driving Sports TV, I'm Ryan Douthat. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, share our videos. We make them for you, and I hope you enjoy.